How's it going, guys? Just sitting here chilling out in Charleston, waiting on people to show up. I don't know if anybody's going to show up for this. If they don't, I'll probably delete it. But I'm out here rocking the cob. Nice warm weather. Figured I'd take this opportunity to have a little chat with y'all, if you so choose to join. If not, well, life goes on. Smoking the last little bit of my mountain breeze here. And tell you what, this stuff, it tastes great. Sorry, trying to get my phone positioned here. It tastes great. And while you're smoking it, it smells great. Not so much afterwards. When this stuff is left to sit for a little while, and all the fun has settled down, this stuff gets sour as all hell. My backpack stinks like it's never stank before because I keep my pipes in, some of my pipes in it, especially while I'm traveling. And it just, oh God, it's just nasty. And I find myself wondering, how could something that tastes so good and smells so good end up smelling so bad after it sat for a little while? And I mean, I'm talking about even, I run a pipe cleaner through this stuff every time I smoke it. I'm ready to get into my Lane Limited collection, the little samplers that I got with my last big order. Not my Dunhill order, but the order before that. I got a bunch of little 2-ounce, 1 and 2 ounce bags. A lot of them are from Lane Limited, and I'm ready to start tearing into those. With this stuff, I mean, as much as I like it, I really hate it. But it's nice and cool, but it's not cold, which is a nice change. Hanging out down here in Charleston. I'm sure you saw my my earlier video where I had my nice little find. Little McClellan hiding back in the hidey hole of my old stomping grounds tobacco shop. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's a nice way to just chill out and relax, especially when you've been listening to screaming kids all day. So it's said that pipes are for ponderers. And my, how we ponder. And I watched this thing. It was a speech by Denzel Washington about falling forward. If you're going to fall, fall forward. And in there, he told this story about more of a concept. And like, imagine yourself laying on your deathbed, and the ghosts of all your past possibilities were standing around you, just shaking their head disappointed because you didn't follow up on them, you didn't fulfill them, you didn't do anything about them. All of the potential, all the ideas you never acted on, just standing there staring at you. And I got to thinking, what have I had in my head, or ideas that I've had, that I didn't act on? What opportunities have I missed? Now, looking back at the past, the only thing you can really do is learn from it, right? Because you can't change it. There ain't nothing you can do about it now. You can't correct it. You can't make amends, but you can learn from it. So, I started thinking back. What have I missed? Where can I apply myself in other places? And I got nothing. I guess I must be doing all right, right? So I'm pretty happy with where I am right now. But I've thought it for years. Is They say that the root of all evil is money, and I agree with them. Whereas money is not in and of itself a necessity, but it is a necessity to get what to get the things that you do need. Technically, I mean, I guess there's a lot of homeless out there that do all right. Guess they're not doing just fine. There's some people, vagabonds out there that have chosen that type of life, and they're doing great. They enjoy the hell out of it. I'm not one of those people, but some people get so caught up thinking about money, running around in circles. You know, chickens with their heads cut off, just trying to get more money. And I ask myself regularly, what does it matter? And I believe it was Alan Watts was doing a philosophical speech I was listening to one time, and like old school thing. It was like on an old recording. You know, you could hear like the hairs on the record in the background or whatever. But he was talking about being at a grocery store, and somebody in front of him at this grocery store ran up a big bill with the stuff in their cart, and wound up spending like $300 or something like that, and they looked all disappointed and bummed out about it, and they're like, "Man, it's bad. That sucks." And he asked them, "Why is that so bad?" "Well, because I spent all of that money on all this stuff, so I don't have it anymore." And it brought up a really interesting point. You just traded a bunch of money, a bunch of paper, better yet, not even paper, it's some cloth these days with a picture on it. Yeah, it's something that you worked for, but it's just a piece of cloth for sustainable materials. So you traded paper for something that's going to allow for food. You traded paper for food. You traded paper for a house. Now, these days, we're not even trading paper anymore. We're trading imaginary numbers on a computer screen. Whatever. But I resigned myself a long time ago to no longer get caught up with the whole money aspect of life. I've got it, I've got it. If I don't, I don't. I can make do one way or the other. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. But, yeah, it's just some mindless ponderings I've had over the years. Guess I'd share it with you. Looks like nobody's joining my video. I'm not surprised I only have... Oh, somebody did show up. How's it going? It doesn't tell me who. What? Maybe if I hold that up. No? What's this? Oh, really? They got filters? That's horrible. So, those are my mindless ponderings. Money's worthless, not a real thing. Ain't got nothing better to talk about, right? Yes, you have been spotted, Fireplug. You're the only one here, too. It's amazing. How are you doing tonight? We can have a one-on-one chat. I know the responses are a little bit slow. If you want to know what mindless rambling I was on a little bit ago, you can watch back in the video after we're done with this. I guess I'll go ahead and post her up. Well, I'm just chilling out here in Charleston, smoking the last of my mountain breeze out of my little Missouri Meerschaum little acorn cob, my cracked one. If you've watched my other videos, I'm sure you've seen it. But, inadvertent product placement from my cousin's plumbing company. They do certainly happen. It was a little philosophical ramble. I do enjoy them, though. I mean, the pipe is a ponderer's tool. But, this old mountain breeze here, I was saying earlier on in the video, you know, it smokes great, it smells great. The tin note is fantastic on it, even though it doesn't have a tin. It tastes great while you're smoking it, but my God, it leaves the most shit sour smell in my pipes I have ever smelled come out of a tobacco. It's terrible. You know, for that simple reason alone, I don't think I'll ever get any more of this stuff. It made my whole garage smell like a skanky, unwashed bottom of a pipe. It was pretty terrible stuff. And tomorrow, I get to go to another one of my old stomping ground baccy shops out in Mount Pleasant. While I'm on my way out there, I'm going to be visiting the Yorktown. The USS Yorktown, it's an aircraft carrier they've got sitting in the mud here in Charleston, turned it into a museum and all that. My dad collects pint glasses from different naval museums all over the country. I got him one off of the Hornet, I believe it was, out of San Diego. My whole thing went away up at the top. Oh, there it comes back. The Hornet out of San Diego, I got him one. He got a glass from, I don't know, one of the ones up in Virginia. I think he got one in North Carolina. So I get to stop by old aircraft carrier tomorrow and then head out to my baccy shop and try some Act of Valor from Lane 1Q, or Lane. I'm kind of excited about that. Let's see, who else joined our chat room? We're just sitting here having a little smoky poo, philosophizing. What do you want to talk about? Give me a ramble. I can go off on just about anything. Just point me in a direction. It doesn't have to be pipes. It could be about anything. I could do the rest of it with some bubbles if you'd like. Huh. Why do they even have all these filters on there? That's just preppers. Okay. Preppers. That's something I can talk about. Now, I do my own tidbit of prepping. Not a whole lot. My prepping is more skill set prepping. I own the old, I guess, declassified. It never was really classified, but the old Army Field Survival Manual. I have a copy of that, and I actually go out and I practice some of the things out of it from time to time. Trap building, learn how to kill and, you know, trap small game, stuff like that. You know, basic hunting skills. But one of the bigger skills that I'm getting into these days is pickling. Because we both know that pickled items can last a very, very, very long time. So, my garden's going to, yeah, I agree, it is a good skill to have. So I've got a ton of cucumbers that I'm going to be growing in my garden this year, and hopefully they do better than my plants last year. Last year I had a magnesium deficiency and really sour soil. I did actually a test on my soil this year before I started prepping anything to grow. And the pH is a little bit high. I had tons and tons of potassium in my soil. Like the test is supposed to turn brown, and the darker brown it turns, the more potassium you have. That test turned black. It was ridiculous how much potassium I have in my soil, but I have no nitrogen, and I have absolutely no phosphorus. So my neighbors gave me about 300 pounds of rabbit crap to mix into my garden, and hopefully this year it'll do a lot better. But I'm gonna have 30 of one kind of Boston pickling cucumbers, another 15 of another type of cucumber, and 10 of another type of cucumber plant that are going to be surrounding the top side of my fence. And then I pickle eggs. I've got a pretty decent pickled eggs recipe that I would be more than happy to share with you. You just boil the eggs, 50-50 vinegar, water, about a teaspoon of salt mixed in there with it. Throw in some diced onions, diced peppers, and a couple little mustard seeds, and 1 clove of diced garlic, and one of those great big, I'm not even sure, 1 quart jars with the wide mouth lid on them. Throw all that together and then just let it sit for at least 6 months, and you got yourself some good pickled eggs. That's pretty much the way I roll with those. Been saving the eggshells to plant all my plants on top of. So, do you have a channel there, Fireplug? Yeah, I might raise it up a little bit, mix in a little topsoil directly where I'm gonna be planting. Oh, I'll have to look you up whenever we're done with this. I don't know if you subscribe to me or not. I've been on vacation, so I haven't been paying as close attention as I normally do. But I'll check you out as soon as I get done with this. And this is my longest video yet. But now I kind of feel that the people who prep by basically hoarding, hundreds of thousands of dollars in food, and then piling up, several $100,000 in weapons and ammunition. We'll just face facts on that. Something happens and you've got to move, you're not taking any of that with you. Alright, and especially if you ain't got the skills to keep any of that going, you're not saving anything. Like, the only way that you'd be alright having all that crap is if you were in a place where you were guaranteed you were going to be able to bug in, and then if you've got the weapons to fight it, you're still going to have people to man those weapons, so you're going to have to trust somebody at some point. And the vast majority of preppers that I've ever talked to are a very paranoid bunch. So I've always subscribed to the whole minimalist prepper idea. You got your sidearm, your main arm, and your hunting arm that you work with. A vast array of knives. I'm also convinced that with enough string, you could survive for as long as you need to. So I have the one thing I guess I do kind of hoard is I've got thousands and thousands of feet of paracord. But I'm a bosun mate in the Coast Guard, so I'm pretty predisposed to liking string. I do fancy work sometimes in my spare time, and I actually crochet, believe it or not. That's, not just a... Hey, you know what? There ain't nothing wrong with, talking to yourself. What's TWD? But, yeah, I got tons of paracord, knives. I keep, 22 ammo. Yeah, they do watch The Walking Dead too much, but they don't hoard either. Then you got those people that, don't take into account, like, food. Like, how often do you actually see the people on The Walking Dead eat? Like, it's incredibly rare. Like, most of the time, there's little to no food around, you know what I mean? And they're all right, you know. They just, not a single person in The Walking Dead has ever lost a pound, which I thought was kind of weird. But Carol is a force of nature. She's got some good ideas, but storming a well fortified base with a single AR and a bottle rocket, and actually coming out on top is making rope out of plastic bags. That's interesting. What's the tensile strength of that? It pretty strong? I've never actually tried that myself. I mean, I could in a pinch, but I never really would have thought to do that. That's not a bad skill to have, honestly. Well, I mean, paracords, honestly, it's not that cheap. You could buy like 5,000 feet of it or something like that for like $50. So, I have tons of that. Like three or four spools is tons of it. And then you get, you know, having crocheting. Well, what do they just like twist it up and make a three strand out of them, or what? I mean, honestly, with enough strands, you can do just about anything. You know, with anything, you could tow a car with fishing line or yarn or twine, baling twine, which we both know baling twine ain't very strong. Yeah, okay. So braided would that makes sense. Yeah, it's like the old, what is it, like kung fu movie proverb: as one strand, you are very weak, but as many strands, we are strong. I watch too many Asian movies. It's pretty terrible. But I mean, I think the first time I think I ever saw that was when I was a kid. The Three Ninjas. That old man, like four strands of rope. Rocky, Colt, and Tum Tum, or three strands of rope. And then Grandpa. So I guess it was four strands of rope. But 70s kung fu. Yeah, I found that a lot of the old, not necessarily the old, but some of the more off the wall Chinese movies have really, really great storylines to them. Red Cliff is one of my favorites, and then there's a Jackie Chan movie most people haven't heard about. It's Little Big Soldier. I was really impressed with that movie, but I can't stand it when their mouths don't match up with the words, so I always watch them in Chinese with subtitles, which pisses my wife off. So I don't get to watch them while she's paying attention. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to trolling YouTube a little bit. It was great chatting with you, Fireplug. You have a good one, and I'll be checking out your channel. And enjoy the rest of your week. If I don't get another video up this week, all right. You take it easy.